As you can see by the look on Trenton's face, we have an unbelievable, epic show for you today that I've been working on very diligently, and I'm extremely excited about.
I'm glad that you're excited. I'm not.
That's just rude. I put a lot of work into this, and that was just a rude comment.
Tell the folks how much time you put into something like this.
Oh, this show here is probably a couple, 2-3 hours. It took me to kind of put it together because you know how I am. I go back and forth on certain bottles and, you know, should I put this one in? Should I not? Does it apply to this category? Does it not?
I think that's why people really appreciate you, because you're really thorough in your video putting together skills.
Yeah.
How you stitch everything together. You put a lot of thought into it.
I try.
I just have a harebrained idea and I just toss it on there. No research, no nothing. We just kind of go with it. So
you just look stuff up on your phone as we're doing the video if you need to.
Very, very not professional by any means. But that's what we got. Polar opposites here.
That's all right.
So this is one of those videos, very well structured. Right.
Well, let's hope so. This could go off the rails. There's 19 bottles. 19. I told my lovely wife we got to taste them all. And she was like, no, you don't. No, you're not.
Are we?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not. Today we're going to do a Scotch whiskey show, folks. We're going to do Scotch whiskey. This is going to be tips in how to build your own collection. And the reason I went down this road with this video, Trent, you remember not that long ago we did the blind tasting with Scotch whiskey.
How can I forget?
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And there's a ton of comments in there that were like, yes, Scotch whiskey.
Really?
Yay,
okay.
Scotch whiskey. So then I also thought there's probably a lot of our viewers who, thankfully, and we appreciate you watching our videos, that are relatively new to Scotch whiskey like yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and with all that pain on your face as you were trying to hold that in.
My mom made some what is it, Cajun chicken. It was really good, but it's not sitting too well in the stomach here.
And that's why I don't eat before we do a video. But you just go with it.
Well, let's be fair too, though, because even if I weren't to eat, I'd still be burping a lot. That's just how it is.
I guess so. Just something I have to live with here.
It'll be interesting for me too, because I have been getting into single malt Scotch just a little bit more this year. Still, I need to get that notion out of my head. When I think of Scotch, I think peated. That's all I think about. I need to stop doing that because that's not always the case.
No,
but
not at all.
I have a couple bottles in my collection that I do enjoy, but they're a little bit north of $100 for the ones that I have. So ones that I think would be good, some of the ones that I know a little bit about, I know that are like $30-$40-ish. So I'm excited to learn a bit about those two.
Each bottle that I put into this show, Trenton, that may not be cheap, but they are all priced effectively. They're priced effectively. They're really good quality whiskey for the money.
Okay.
So I really tried to be conscientious of price points. We can't name each and every price. Once we get started, we're going to go pretty quick with this show. But what I did is I kind of put it into categories. I put it into 6 different categories, and I thought that was the simplest way to approach and how to build a Scotch whiskey collection, because it's a lot different than bourbon. Bourbon's just, you distill it, you age it. It's got to be aged in new charred American oak barrels. But, as you know and as you have learned so far, Scotch whiskey can go a lot of different directions in casks, maturing, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of islands and regions and things that they don't even sound like real places. I'll just say that much. So I'm going to be learning some stuff too today along with you folks, because I know nothing.
Well, I'm not a professional by any means. I'm going to start out by saying that I do enjoy Scotch whiskey and I love learning about that. So before I start, I want to give you 2 different YouTube channels that I watch on a regular basis that help me out immensely. One is Ralphie. Ralphie's an older gentleman like myself, but he is like the human encyclopedia of whiskey and especially Scotch whiskey. If you want to learn, he is extremely educational.
Is he the fudgy?
Very educational. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
No, Ralphie's great. I mean, he's very opinionated. He speaks with conviction, and he's a really interesting follow. So I try not to watch any or miss any of his shows. The other one is a little bit younger of a gentleman, so he uses some nice what is it called, graphics and so forth in his videos, and he just has an amazing way to communicate. He's an excellent communicator. It's First Phil Whiskey. Phil, and I mentioned him before too. First Fill, Phil spelled Phil as in his first name. So First Fill Whiskey.
That's cool.
So those are two that I can give you that if you want to really truly dig in and learn a lot more than I can give you in the realm of Scotch whiskey, check out those guys. All right, Trent.
I'll put the links in the description.
Great.
If I remember.
And you will.
I will.
Honey, you're going to remind him, aren't you?
Just text me at like midnight when I'm editing and I'll get it in there. I'll make sure.
Whatever. All right, first category I want to give you, Trent, is it's kind of like a beginner or gateway category to kind of get you into a little bit of Scotch whiskey. Trent, the first bottle I want to show you is this Compass Box Orchard House. Compass Box is pretty much a company that blends, they source and blend whiskey. This particular bottle is all malt whiskey, so it's a blended malt whiskey. What I love about Compass Box is they really try hard to do everything on a quality level. So this is non-chill filtered and it is 92 proof. Tasting notes are exactly how it's on the label, Orchard House. It's just jammed full with orchard fruits. It's primarily aged in ex-bourbon cask, and I think it's a great bottle, and it's not that expensive.
Is it peated?
No.
Okay. It tastes
Maybe just a tiny bit malty for you.
I do like it's nice and appley though.
Yeah. The other next bottle I want to show you, Trent, and we went over it before. It's actually called Naked Malt. They've changed it. They've rebranded Trenton. I've got the old bottle. The old bottle I have is Naked Grouse. So the bottle's a little bit different, and the name is actually still has Naked on here, but it's Naked Malt. Same thing. This one here is also a blend of malt whiskeys, but why is it just because the name is Naked? Seriously, you can't be Trenton. Come on now, dude. Seriously, Ralphie would just die if he watched this show. He would absolutely just not be happy with us at this moment.
Are we in 5th grade now?
I'm basically a 5th grader that can drink. That's about it.
I'm looking over and I know I'm trying to think. See, this is how hard it is to do a show for me on SLB. Because I'm looking at him knowing that he's just about ready to bust it. So I'm thinking in my head, what did I say? What silly thing did I say that you can contrive in some weird way? But no, it's just because the name of the whiskey has Naked in it. He's having a heart attack.
We're going to try some of this here naked.
All right. You do what you got to do. This is a blend of malt whiskeys, but this one is extremely sherry forward. Now this one's only 86 proof, so it's 43 ABV. It's probably not non-chill filtered and all that stuff, but I still think it's an amazing sherried whiskey and in the $30 to $40 range.
Why do I think of apricot when I think of that? Did you age an apricot in it or something?
No, I actually infused some dried apricot and made a few cocktails with it, and it was fantastic.
Ooh,
yeah, that's probably what
nice.
you're thinking. If you want something with a little bit of age in this category, the Glenlivet 12. I mean, you know, it is a little bit lower proof. I think it's on the 43 ABV. It's 86 proof, I believe. And it's there somewhere. Nope, I lied. It's 40. So it's only 80 proof. But this will give you an idea of Scotch whiskey, Trenton. It's just an average bourbon cask whiskey is going to have some vanilla notes and a little bit of light fruits in there, and it's going to be a good introduction and give you a little bit of an age statement too.
And these were like what category were these? All three?
This
like
is all
beginner?
starting beginners,
Okay.
gateway, however you want to name the category. So those are just a few examples that I have for you there. Now let's move on. We're going to move on. The second category I want to discuss with you is basically bourbon cask matured.
Do you want to move these off to the side and then?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, we can move them off if you want. However you want to do it.
I'm gonna try and
'Cause we
put
got
some
a
nice.
few.
I'm gonna try and put some nice graphics up of the bottles and stuff.
Really?
By
Okay.
category. I'm gonna try and
Wow.
remember.
Wow. Well, good. I can't wait to see what your graphic is for Naked.
Oof. Yeah. YouTube's gonna take us down.
Don't do that. All right. Now, there are folks that enjoy primarily ex-bourbon aged Scotch whiskey. Robert, our friend Robert, is one of them. He loves that category. So in this particular grouping, I have this Ball Blair 12-year Trenton. This one is also 92 proof. I don't know what you're going to say.
There's some particulate.
No, there's not. Is there?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to comment on the color. Because
It's a lighter color.
usually whiskeys and Scotch whiskeys that are aged in primarily ex-bourbon aren't really that dark. They're a little bit more of the hay type color.
Okay.
But that is non-chill filtered. That's all the good stuff here too. That's really nice. This Glencadam 10-year is another one. That's a really good option for bourbon cask matured. I have to be honest with you, when I opened that and I took my first sip out of it, I wasn't a big fan. I thought it was a bit harsh, and I thought it was a bit vibrant and zesty. But after it's been open, it's tamed down quite a bit, and I really, really like it. That one, I think, Trent, if you want to take a small sip of it, I think it has a little bit of a lemon oil to it too, which I really like.
It's very citrusy.
Yeah, I think it has some lemon oil notes to it that I really enjoy as well. What I have to put in there, though, this one here, this Aaron 10-year, is absolutely one of my favorites of all time. I used to be able to get it for around $60. I'm hoping it's still the same. But this one does have just a little bit of sherry cask in it, but primarily ex-bourbon cask matured. But I love this one. It's got a little bit of vanilla in there, that malty note, the vanilla. But this one also, to me, gives me a lot of tropical fruit notes. Definitely one of my favorites. It's also very viscous. It's got a great mouthfeel. Ooh. It's fantastic.
It does smell very good.
So those are just a few options that I want to give you in the bourbon cask mature category. So if you want to move those, you can.
So what's the difference? Okay, sorry. These are ex-bourbon? And then
ex-bourbon.
what were those, the beginner
Some of
ones?
those were for ex-bourbon as well. One of them was more sherry casks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I would put them more in a beginner type category.
Okay, I got you.
The ones I'm showing you there are actually pretty nice whiskeys.
Okay.
We're going to move on to primarily sherry casks now. Sherry cask matured, right? I know you see this one right here, Trenton. It's one a little bit left. It's one of our favorites down here at the bar. This is the Glenallachie 12-year. This would be considered a sherry bomb, loaded with dried fruits, dark fruits, all kinds of raisins, just that really delicious stuff that I know you like. Also, I'm going to highlight this bottle. Paul, our friend Paul, gave us this bottle and turned me onto this one. This is the Glenrose, the whiskey maker's cut. This one's non-age stated, all right, and it's not that expensive. I looked it up. I think it's around $50-$60, something like that. But that's another one, Trent, that's really good. Probably not as sherry forward, I would say, as this Glenallachie 12-year. But boy, that thing really sips nicely. And look at the proof. I think the proof's a little higher on that one too.
About 98.
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there. It's just below 100.
Yeah.
I can't math right
So
now.
it's a little bit elevated too, and it just makes for a beautiful sip. So thank you, Paul, for introducing me to that and providing me that bottle. It's wonderful. This one here I have to put out here, Trent. It's the Bunnahabhain 12-year. It does have a little bit of bourbon cask matured whiskey in the blend, but it's primarily sherried. But this particular bottle was very instrumental in the start of my Scotch whiskey journey. I would say this is the very first bottle that I bought that I went, wow, that's good.
See, that's interesting because this was kind of mine, and it's not because I bought it. You were talking a lot about it, and I know it made an appearance in several videos, and I don't think at the time I really cared for it too much, or I tried it and I was like, this just isn't really for me. Yeah. But I just kept coming back to it for some reason, and now this is like a staple that I have in my house. I go through one, not a lot because I'm still kind of trying to find my find what I like in the single malts and stuff. But this is a great option. $60, $65, something like that.
It's going to be between $60 and $70. Yeah. Right. So that's all I have for you for the sherry cask matured. Now we're going to move on to the next category, and I don't even remember what category we're on. We're on category number 4, which is actually Trenton's favorite category. Would be the peated whiskey, a very divisive, divisive selective of Scotch whiskey. But I think I have some here that would appeal to most everybody. Maybe not some. If you're not a peated whiskey fan, don't worry about it. Then just don't do it. First one, Trenton. This one is more on the light peated, and I love this bottle.
This
is the Isle of Raasay. And you remember when I talked to you about being in Arizona when your mom and I were down there, and we go to Trevor's all the time. That's the liquor stores, and they've got several. And there's one in particular on the south side that has a gentleman that's working there, and I'm going to have to apologize again because I do not remember his name. But he is extremely knowledgeable and he is just all over all spirits for that matter, but especially whiskey and into Scotch whiskey. So I dig into his brain all the time to try to learn different things, but he highly recommended this bottle to me when I was there a year or so ago. And I'm so glad he did, because it is now it's more lightly peated.
It is.
It's more lightly peated.
I pick up on it.
It is, but to me, it also includes some beautiful dark fruit notes in there too. So it will give you a little bit of peat, a little bit of smokiness, I would call it. It doesn't really get to that ashy, dark.
Okay, not like an Ardbeg or anything.
No, it's going to give you some smoke there, definitely some smoke, but also some dark fruit notes, and I think it's wonderful. Also, another quality bottle, non-chill filtered, the whole 9 yards, natural color. Another one I like is Talisker 10-year, Trent. It's not that expensive. To me, I get some brownie nut fudge in there along with the peat smoke and stuff.
Really?
I really
Wow.
do.
Brownie nut fudge.
You know, and I know that's a little bit weird to even say that, but I tasted it even before the video, and it does. It kind of gives me a little bit of a brownie nut fudge thing with a little bit of smoke there with it too. This one I also wouldn't consider to be a heavily peated bottle.
Okay.
So, last but not least, of course, a heavily peated bottle. I had to put it in there.
Right on the label.
I would definitely recommend this Port Charlotte 10-year. That's the bottle, Trenton, where you're going to get into your meaty notes, your bacon, your barbecue, that ashy, it's just lovely.
fave.
Right? It's just lovely, man. It just really is. They have some special releases that are just dynamite as well. I don't have any, unfortunately, but I need to find one.
Well, I can't wait to not try it. Lovely.
All right, that's last of the peated. We'll get out of that for you real quick. We're going to get a category, Trent, I think you might even want to learn a little bit about and appreciate, which would be a higher level of proof point. Cask strength, when we referred to bourbon whiskeys and rye whiskeys as cask strength, barrel proof, but I don't think they use those actual terminology on this stuff, but it's all higher proof stuff. And if you want to look at the proofs, I'm never going to remember them all. This Avalor Abuna,
About 120.
about 120 proof. This is a sherry bottle as well, so you may really like this one.
Oh, shoot.
This is kind of a sherry bomb, Trenton, this Avalor here. And it's about 120 proof. So you folks out there that are proof hounds, that really love your cask strength and barrel proof bourbons, this category might be right up your alley. I can't wait for you to taste that one. Go ahead.
Oh, are we doing it now? Wow, you can just smell the proof on that sucker.
I got Bunnahabhain 12 in my glass. Yeah. I'm interested to see what your comment is on that.
Love it.
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good stuff.
It's interesting because when I say like it tastes like a pencil, this tastes like sherry mixed with a little pencil shaving, mixed with a little bit of oak, and it's a little bit dusty. I gotta say, I do like that one quite. How much is this one? I might have to try and find.
That's another one that so far nothing is in that over $100. Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
Wow.
We
okay.
will get to that in a little bit probably here, but right now this one may be.
Oh, sorry.
This one might be one that's a little over $100. I don't quite remember. This is the Tamdu Batch Strength. I love this bottle. It's aged exclusively in sherry bottles. A lot of Christmas cake, fruit cake. You remember that fruit cake that we ate? A lot of those notes in this bottle, and I absolutely love it. Tamdu Batch Strength. If you want to get that one right there a little bit, this is exclusive ex-bourbon cask. This is the Glenlivet Nadura. This is also, what's the proof on that, bub?
120.8.
Yeah. This one is absolutely lovely, and we'll give you those vanilla, biscuity notes along with some really nice white fruit notes in there, but intensified because it has that higher proof. The last one I want to give you is kind of the Mecca. This one is like the ultimate bottle, Trenton, of higher proof whiskeys, and I'm not the only one that believes that. There's tons of them that do. So this one is hard to find. So I'm just throwing it in as an extra. But this Springbank 12-year cask strength, to me, is just to die for. I love that Campbelltown whiskey funk, and it's just an amazing bottle. Again, it will cost you over $100. This one might too. I'm not really positive on this one either. This one's under, I think. But this one definitely will cost you over $100. But if you see it anywhere, it's well worth to have in your collection. It's just hard to find.
So this is a Campbelltown? Are
Yeah.
all these the same?
No.
Okay.
No, they're going to be different regions as you spoke
Okay.
of. But I don't know. There's something about that Campbelltown funk that you get in the whiskey, and Springbank is just like your upper echelon of
Is that
all
where they
It's
make the
just
Campbell's
great
chicken
stuff.
noodle soup?
No, probably not. I'm just guessing. What do you think, honey? You think they make Campbell's chicken noodle soup over there in Scotland? I doubt it.
Possible. Barrel-aged tomato soup?
Why don't you write an email and ask them?
I will. I
Be
will.
curious of the return email.
Yeah, I can do that.
Last but not least, the sixth category. I'm trying to get through these as quickly as possible. If you want to add something that's a little bit more higher age to your collection, that gives you a little bit of notoriety to your collection. This Speyburn 15 year, I think, is a cannot miss in this category because I still have Harry's sticker on it. And what's it say?
$59.99.
$60. Yeah. $60 for this Speyburn 15 year. This is a mix. This is a mix of ex bourbon and ex sherry. It's good quality whiskey. It is 92 proof. It's just all the good stuff for $60. I mean, you cannot beat the price, and it gives you a little bit of an age statement too as well. Deanston 18 year for exclusively ex bourbon cask whiskey. Trenton, that's just a beautiful sip, is Deanston 18 year. That's another one that's probably going to be over $100, but not by a lot.
Okay.
It's not by a lot. So it's going to be, good quality whiskey for the money, and that's what we're after, right? Good value. Last but not least, one of my absolute favorites, I haven't had this here that long, as you can see, Trent is down a little bit, and a knock 18 year. It's a little over $100. This is more on the sherried side, but this one here, in my personal opinion, would give the Macallan 18-year-old a run for its money. It's elegant. It sips more elegant.
Okay.
Kind of like a Macallan whiskey would, except for Macallan 18-year-old now is about $400. Yeah.
Oh God.
Crazy.
That's rough.
$400. So you can get this probably between $100 and $150 for an 18-year-old Scotch whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that is all that I have in the categories and the bottles that I wanted to show you, try to help you along your journey in building a little bit of your own Scotch whiskey collection. Now keep in mind, you're the customer, you're the consumer. As Trent and I always say on this channel, it's what you like is what's most important. So I would like to hear in the comments some of the bottles that you would have put in these different categories that you thought I might have missed, because I'd be curious to learn as well.
I'm surprised you didn't sneak an Ardbeg in there.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, the Ugadal is one of my favorites. There are some, but I think they're a little bit more pricey than the Port Charlotte 10 year, and that's why I put that in. I do really love that Port Charlotte 10 year, though. I really do.
Gotcha. Cool.
I would much prefer that Port Charlotte 10 year over the Ardbeg 10 year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try the peated stuff ever, but hey. I said I wouldn't try single malts a while ago, too. So who knows what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this, and I hope you learned something. You will have a quiz on it tomorrow.
Just like school, I'm going to fail the quiz, but I'll say I learned a lot. I did.
And what's one thing that you'll remember today?
That I don't like peated. I just don't like the peated.
I really thought you would say the naked, but
yeah. The naked, yeah.
Well,
I'm going to get one just to never open. I'm just going to put it on my shelf. Just laugh at it every time I see it.
It's always an adventure here at SLB, I can promise you that. Well, that's all we have for you today. Have a great week, right? We got Bourbon Madness coming up again on Wednesday and Friday.
2 more weeks, and then we're done.
I've tried to prod your mother just a little bit to give me a couple ideas what's happened, but, she is sharp. She's sharp, and she's just not going to come up with any information for me. So I have no idea how we did. I had a feeling on one particular one. I kind of did an upset. I just had that feeling, but I went with what I was enjoying the most at the time.
That's what it's all about.
As far as I know, all of them were upsets. I really don't know, but one for sure I thought possible.
I'm interested for the recap that we do for that, for sure.
I know. It ought to be good. All right, as always.
I'm good.
As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. We'll see you next time right down here with Trent and me in the good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.